On a sunny June morning, fishing guide Jared Willett walks into an eddy on the Wild River, reaches down under the cold water, and pulls up a round rock.
So there's a really tiny mayfly nymph on this guy, writhing around in the water there.
Wow, how did
Teeny,
you
teeny,
see
tiny.
that?
He's revealing one of the many tricks he's picked up through years of fly fishing, flipping rocks.
Flipping rocks is just kind of a good place to start when you get to a new stretch of water. Trout mainly feed on insects, and a lot of those are nymphal stages of things called mayflies or caddisflies or stoneflies, and they kind of just hang out and cling to the bottom of rocks. So it's a really good way to just get a feel of what sort of insect life is in the stretch of river.
It's a classic scene on a western Maine river, an experienced guide sharing the secrets and magic of fly fishing with enthusiastic anglers.
Pretty.
So this up here is elk hair. And it's got lots of hollow cavities on the inside of it, so it's really, really buoyant.
But this gathering's anything but typical. The participants have signed up for a special weekend called Outcast Camp, put on by a new organization, the Confluence Collective.
Thank you all so much for being so open with one another. So excited that you're here.
Jacquet Lewis came from Staten Island for her second Confluence Collective retreat. She says the organization's helping to diversify the sport of fly fishing for women, people who are LGBTQ, and people of color.
You open up a magazine or you go online or, you're looking for gear and the person fly fishing isn't going to look like me, right? And so to the layperson, that might give you the impression that, this isn't something that is accessible to me, but it is.
Maine is known for its diversity of fly fishing opportunities. There's wild brook trout in high cold streams like this one, and smallmouth bass in the big rivers, and stripers down along the coast. But it's not been known for diversity among anglers themselves.
So if you're not able to see your fly on the water, don't strain too much. Try a parachute.
Bree Dostey has been fishing since she was 6 and fly fishing since she was 15. She founded the Confluence Collective in 2019.
The Confluence started as a way to define a more inclusive and expansive and dynamic culture that would work for the full diversity of anglers that exists that we don't see as much on the water.
So I think that we have to kind of change our perspective and change the imagery around these activities that we enjoy. And the Confluence Collective provides just that, an opportunity to see and interact and to learn from people that don't appear to be your typical fly fishing enthusiasts, but are just as knowledgeable and, welcoming and astute as anyone else. As the old pros, perhaps.
Many of the participants are new to fly fishing, others more experienced. Lauren Murdoch has been fly fishing for years, but she says this weekend feels different.
I actually have never fished with anyone but men before, so this is a really awesome experience.
As Jacquet and Lauren cast for trout on the Wild River, another group of anglers travels to the Magalloway River in far northwestern Maine. Native brook trout and landlocked salmon are rising, eating flies from the surface of the river. Guide Megan Hess and 3 Outcast Camp anglers spent the morning on the river. The fish were very picky, but by lunchtime, everyone in the group had caught a fish, except Bev Pigeon. Then a feisty landlocked salmon smashed her fly.
Good job!
It was rising here again and again and again and again.
That was fighting hard. That fish was healthy. What a beautiful fish. All right.
Dostey says this is what it's all about, the way that rivers and fish can bring people together.
Oh, that was just beautiful. Woo!
I found some of my most beautiful relationships in my life on the water. It's fueled my creative practice. It has brought me together with people that'll be a part of my life forever. And I found myself out here in ways that I couldn't possibly imagine outside of being in nature. Wouldn't allow myself the space and the grace and the humility in order to really know myself. So I feel like it's just something that every person should have the opportunity to explore for themselves.
Outcast Camp isn't just about fly fishing. There's also fly tying, good food, and campfires. But in the end, it's not about those either.
Catching a fish is great, right? Tying flies is great, but just enjoying the environment, I think, is something that we have access to as fly fishers that like no one else does. You know, I find a lot of calm and peace and enjoyment in nature, and this is just another way for me to access that. I could be hunting, I could be doing other types of fishing, I could be going for a hike, but I'm fly fishing, and there's a lot of joy in that.
And in this way, a whole new and different breed of fly anglers are emerging from the waters of Maine. For Borealis, I'm Murray Carpenter.